What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD interview. Every single week, we bring you interviews with top entrepreneurs, top real estate agents, top badasses from all over the planet, you guys. So this week, no different than always, we've got an epic, amazing guest. Our guest today, I'm really excited to have this gal on. She's somebody I've been following for a long time that I look up to. She's an author, she's a coach, she's a consultant, heavy in the real estate space. She's one that brings massive value to real estate agents, so then that we can bring that value to our clients and make them a hell of a lot more money in their pocket. So before we jump into this interview, you guys, real quick, I want to plug our sponsors that make all this possible. So perfectstormnow.com, www.perfectstormnow.com, very effective, affordable lead generation front-end software, by far the most effective, affordable software that exists out there for real estate agents to become your own Zillow, right? Like I just heard the other day that Zillow is now dramatically increasing their fees to agents. Like we need to wake up. We need to learn how to self-generate our own business and fish for ourselves. So if you want to go out there and learn how to fish for yourself and generate massive free leads and low-cost, high-quality paid leads, jump on that software. Also, our 90-day mastery bootcamp. It's where you get to spend 90 hardcore days with me, dude. We go deep, you guys. 3 hours every single week with live training and Q&A. Plus, you have daily access through me, through our private mastermind, through the whole entire experience. It is a massive, massive game changer. Over 40 hours of hardcore content. We cover everything, really building out your business playbook to allow you to go kick ass in the real estate space. So go check out some more on that, www.90daymastery.com. Also, real quick, if you guys enjoy this show, man, make sure that you're commenting. Make sure that if you're on iTunes or Stitcher, giving us positive reviews. Share the show. We want to be able to grow the show. We need your help to go out there and share it. This allows us to continue offering this show for free. So that being said, you guys, I really appreciate you watching or listening to this episode. Hope you enjoyed this interview as much as I did, and we'll see you soon. All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD interview, where we interview top entrepreneurs, top real estate agents, and just people all over the planet that are choosing to do big things with their life, that are choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but choosing to go out there and create an epic life. So today, you guys, we've got a guest on the show that I'm really excited to have on here, entrepreneur, real estate agent, author. So really excited to have Rachel Adams on the show. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much. Stoked to be here.
Yeah, no, this is an honor. So, I know you got a lot going on today. You got a very successful real estate business. You just wrote a book and really excited to dive into all these things. But before we dive into that, let's kind of rewind the clocks and go through how'd you get started? Rewind high school, college, whatever that, like what led you into becoming an entrepreneur?
So, I've never been in a job more than like 3 months without getting promoted. Like, I don't know how to just kind of sit back and like do what needs to be done. I'm always like, how can it be done better? How can it be done more efficiently? And maybe I should be your boss. So, my dad's a real estate broker in a small town outside Napa, California. And he always told me I'd be really good at real estate. And I'm like, that sounds good, Dad. Not for me. I don't think I want to do that route. And, so I had a bunch of different jobs. I opened Ruth's Chris Steakhouses. I'm first level sommelier. Like wine's a passion for me. Like I did a lot of the restaurant industry, and then decided that I did some commercial real estate assistance and that kind of thing. I managed a team for the Sacramento Kings doing marketing. So kind of a whole gamut of stuff, always around customer service and relationships. That's really where I found my passion lied. And I was working for the Kings, and they were talking about being traded to Vegas. And so I got laid off and followed a Craigslist ad and started as front desk at this real estate office. Not Keller Williams. It was a small kind of boutique firm. And I'm sitting there, and for about 6 or 8 months, about 3 months, I was managing the front desk. And then they said, hey, you seem to know what you're doing. Why don't you run the whole office? And I was like, okay. So I'm doing that, and I'm seeing all these paychecks coming through. And I, at the time, was married to a disabled vet. He had PTSD, and I was the only income. And so I'm salary-based. I know how much money is coming in. It wasn't massive, but it was consistent. So this other guy was in the real estate office. His name was Matt, and he came up to me, and he was like, Rachel, what are you doing behind a desk? Like, you're super smart. You've got all this great skill set. Like, you should be in real estate. And I'm like, I get it. I don't want to be commission based. That's too scary. So for 6 months, he like pushes me and he's like, you need to quit your job. You need to quit your job. So I was told about this event called Bold, and it's a coaching program through Keller Williams. And I was told it was kind of like a Tony Robbins, like rah-rah kind of thing. And I hadn't really experienced that yet. And I went to this first step of Bold and started to hear like the kind of talk of like, you can create your own destiny. And, like if you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. And like I ate that stuff up. I was like, oh my God, I found my home. So I heard a quote that shifted my entire life. It was change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. So the whole time I'm kind of in the scarcity mindset thinking, I can't quit my job. It's safe. I know how much money's coming in. And yet if I change the way I look at things, if I'm commission based, then there's no cap on how much money I can make. And I truly get to create my own destiny. So put my 2 weeks in that day. Super scary, didn't know what I was going to do. And yet I knew I needed to be successful. And I knew that I had a track record of success when I put my mind to it. So Matt Aitchison, the guy that I met at my old office, and I started at Keller Williams February 2nd of 2012, and didn't know how to do any real estate. But we did know that we needed to work hard. So there's a little more to it, but the first year we ended up closing 39 transactions. The next year we closed 109. The year after that we did 123, which landed me as a finalist for 30 Under 30. And we hit top 1,000 agents in the country for Wall Street Journal. And then last year we again increased our volume and our numbers, and that brings us to today.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love that journey. And, one thing I'm curious about, I know a lot of our listeners are, 90% of real estate agents fail in the first 3 years. They have to get out of the business with an 80% year-over-year turnover rate. 39 deals in your first year is kind of unheard of, right? It's like, what did you do in that first year, like, to ensure that you weren't a statistic and really to take off and have that success?
So I think that's a really good question. I think the thing is, Jim Rohn says that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around, right? And I realized that I had to be extremely intentional around who I surrounded myself with and the conversations I was having and the conversations I allowed to have around me. So there's definitely people in the market center who are like, oh, the market sucks and there's no houses out there. I'm like, guess what? You have no place in my world. I don't want to be around you. So what I did is I went to the front desk at my office and I asked our market administrator, and I said, hey, can I have the list of the top 20% of people in production? And she's like, why? I said, I want to know who I need to learn from. So the very first thing I did, this is kind of a silly story, but there was a guy named John Brophy, and he was one of the bigger REO agents in the area, and he was downstairs in our office. So I'm like this new little green agent, and I'm like super nervous, and I take my business cards, right? You get your business card, you go into real estate, and then you're like, what do I do now? How do I get what do I do? And so I went downstairs and I knock on his office and he opens the door and I'm like, hi, my name's Rachel Adams. I'm a realtor. I'm so excited. And I was wondering if you can take me to a cup of coffee. And he's like, what? Like, why would I take you to a cup of coffee? Like, you take me. And I was like, I get it. I can't afford to take you to a cup of coffee. I just got into real estate. Like, I really, truly, like most people say, like, oh, I'm a paycheck to paycheck. I was like a paycheck behind because, mind you, I get into real estate. I didn't do the 6 months of savings like my dad said. I'm broke. So John told me this amazing piece of advice. He took me out to coffee. I promised him I'd pay it forward, and I do. So every week I do 1 20-minute coffee with a new agent who's struggling or needs help because I think it's important to say what you'll do, right? And mean what you say. So John tells me, he's like, kid, get ready for blisters. And I didn't know he literally meant blisters. So our business plan for the first year, Matt and I door knocked 200 houses a week, and we held 3 open houses per week for 8 months. We worked 7 days a week for 8 months. And that built the foundation for us to get a database, get a sphere of influence. Like, I didn't even know what a sphere of influence was. I Googled sphere of influence letter. Seriously. And that's how I sent a letter out to everyone I knew. Hey, I'm in real estate, and I didn't have the transactions behind me. So I used my market center. I was like, my office is in the top 1% in the county. We have market share. I've chosen to partner with the best real estate company out there. If you have buyers or sellers, send them my way. So it's like, honestly, Matt and I actually were creating we do speaking around the U.S. for Keller Williams. And one of the things we're talking about right now is consistency equals freedom. So if you're consistent in real estate with your business plan, you get really intentional and clear on what it is your job is, you're going to get the freedom to live the kind of life you want to lead because you're doing the things you need to do daily.
Yeah. Love it. Couldn't agree more. So then you go from like 39 deals to like 100 deals. You know, like, so those that are listening to this that maybe aren't in the real estate space, I mean, your average agent does like 4 to 6 transactions a year. And now you're doing hundreds. I mean, what then happened from going 39 to taking off to above 100? Like, what were maybe some things that clicked to allow you to take it to that next level?
So I think for me, I knew that I had to figure out how much my time was worth. So I had a situation happened where, so when you do 39 transactions, you can see by that, you go, okay, so how much money did I make that year? How many days did I work that year? Okay, so then you can figure out your hourly rate, right? So when I did this, I think I did it last year, and like my hourly rate was like $196 an hour, something like that. Well, I am at the 39 deal mark, and I get a phone call from an upset seller that a lockbox wasn't on her property, and it was supposed to be. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my client. I have to make him happy. So I leave my office, tell Matt I got to go do something for a seller. He's like, cool. I drive there. It takes me a half hour to get there. Put the lockbox on. Hit traffic on the way back. Takes me about an hour to get back. So I'm gone for an hour and a half. Now, if my hourly rate is 190 something bucks, add another half hour onto that. That's how much that lockbox cost me. So I had to get really clear on how much my time was worth. And so I did a couple different things. One thing I did is I hired a runner. A runner for me, he charges me 25 bucks every time I need to do anything. So all my lockboxes are now put on by a runner. A sign install, dropping off flyers, like anything that I can do that is not a direct money-making activity for me, I leverage it out. I think to get from one place to another, you have to learn the beauty of leverage. And for those that don't know what leverage is, it's basically having someone else do something that's not a money-making activity for you. Like, you are supposed to be focusing on things that are making you money, directly making you money. I'm not going to ask my runner to do a listing presentation for me because that's where I need to be involved. That's my 20%. But all the stuff that's not going to make me money, I leverage it out. Another thing that was my big shift for me with buyers was hiring a showing agent.
Yeah. Are you guys, so give us an idea what your team structure looks like today.
Okay. So in Keller Williams, are the listeners are all over the place, right? Not just KW?
Yeah. We're 85 countries and people from all over.
Okay. So one thing that we do is we have what we call our hub. And so Roseville, California is where my office is. That's where I'm sitting right now. I'm actually in my assistant's office because my business partner is doing a podcast in our office right now. So the way it works is we have the hub here. So Matt and I have two sides to our business. We have a flipping division. We flipped 35 houses last year. So we have a construction team and all that. And then we have the retail division, which I run the retail side. So I'm just going to explain retail for you. So I have me up here as the CEO, right? And Matt helps me with that. And then we have Carla below us, and she's the COO. So she's my head admin. She makes my world work. She schedules my speaking appointments. She put you on my calendar for the podcast today. She makes my world run. She also assists all the agents, make sure they're in for mojo dialing, open houses are scheduled, all that. And then Candace is beneath her, and Candace is, she's considered our executive admin, and she basically assists the real estate agents on our team so that they feel fully supported. And then we have a virtual assistant who handles all our back-end social media, and she's in the Philippines. And then we have an inside sales agent, and she, 40 hours a day, is dialing for sale by owners, expireds, and as well as calling around our open houses, inviting people to them. And then we have Patrick, who's my lead buyer's agent. And then we have two agents beneath him, buyer's agents. We do let our buyer's agents take listings. And then we have one agent in the Bay Area, and that's my expansion agent. So what that means is anywhere from Sacramento, Roseville, so Sacramento, Placer County, Napa, all the way to about San Francisco, we have covered because we belong to the multiple listing services, and we have people in the areas and in different cities that are experts. So we have like a country property person. We have someone who handles just directly downtown Sacramento. So the idea is whatever our client that comes to us, we have someone on the team that can specialize in their area and, take care of them. And then I still do all the listings.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. If you were still personally involved in the selling element.
It's funny because so many people talk about like going 7th level and not being in their business. I personally don't know if 7th level exists. I think you still need to have your thumb somewhere on the business. I know for me, I've made the mistake. The reason why we didn't, almost every year we would either double our business or get close to it as far as either numbers or volume or whatever. And the reason we didn't this last year, to be super honest with you, is we failed forward big time. So I'm sure you've seen, like, you go to a real estate seminar and you see someone on stage, right? And they just look like they have their stuff together. And you're like, dang, you really know what you're doing. You do so much business. Your life must be so stress-free. You leverage out everything. You're perfect. You're flawless. Like, oh, real estate's an amazing career. So I did what I shouldn't have. I judged my insides by their outsides and was like, well, if they're doing that, then I can do it and I should do it better. And so I jumped too fast and I tried to grow too fast, too quickly. And what that ended up happening is a ton of my time spent in a place that didn't actually develop growth. It ended up in me losing $47,000 and a big learning experience. So I feel like to do big things in this world, you have to try and you have to fail and you have to be okay with failing and know that you're going to do it again and again and again.
Yeah, and I love the quote that you said, failing forward. Because so many people look at failure as a bad thing, but those are our best learning moments.
No question.
So let's talk about Matt from your business partner, because there's so many people that form real estate partnerships, whether it's two other agents that are teaming together. You see a lot of husband and wives teaming together. But we see a lot of them fail too. It's very hard to find that great partner. But just from hearing your voice and your energy, sounds like you guys have an amazing partnership. Can you kind of give us an idea of like what you guys do to make sure that partnership's so successful?
Yeah, we're both considered CEOs of the company. So I think for people, so many people ask us, like, how did you guys become partners? I want a real estate partner. And I truly feel that a real estate partnership needs to happen organically. I think that it needs to be kind of, you're just two people doing the right things and you happen to come into each other's world. So when Matt and I decided to become business partners, we had a conversation. And I'm not kidding you. We took a piece of paper, we drew a line down the middle, tore it. I went on one side, he went on the other. And we both said, let's ask each other the questions. How many days do we want to work? What is our commitment level? What do we feel like our strengths are? What do we feel like our weaknesses are? And then we brought those two pieces of paper back together. So we were doing them separately. Then you come back together. And the cool thing was, we joke around. We say that Matt's the stuff and I'm the fluff, because I do all the hand holding. I do all the, the buyer presentations, the listing presentations, train the agents, open houses, all that kind of stuff. And Matt really is kind of in charge of the admin side of things and keeping the agents accountable and that kind of stuff. So for us, it was like, it really worked super well, because when we came together on those papers, we each showed up 100%. We each agreed. And my God, have it in writing, but we now have incorporated and stuff. So we're, it's an actual company, and he and I take a salary and there's bonus overrides and all that jazz. But, for us, it was, we both knew we were going to work full time. We both agreed we'd take Sundays off. This is after that crazy 8-month period where we didn't have a life. But the thing is like, we realized, like, whether we had it all written down, so there's no gray area, like, and it made a huge difference, because whether, like, so Josh, say you and I are partners and you have your mom and she wants to buy a house and I have an internet lead, same split, 50-50, no matter what. It doesn't matter where it comes from. For the two of us, everything is split 50-50 down the middle. I think when you have the gray area, that's where partnerships can oftentimes dissolve. Or if you haven't set clear expectations about what I'm going to do and what you're going to do, then you're going to show up 60% of the time, or you're going to start to take Tuesdays off. And that's not okay. Unless Tuesday's the day we talked about you taking off. Just like you would in a listing presentation or a buyer presentation, it's about setting the expectation.
Yeah, love it. So when you started, you're knocking 200 doors was a week or a day. You're knocking a bunch of doors, you're getting blisters, you're doing your open houses. What are you doing today? Is it still very heavily prospecting based, or what are you guys doing today that's really working?
It is. I personally am not door knocking or holding open houses anymore, and I don't work weekends. We have an amazing team that supports us. So I'm in charge of the coaching. We do weekly or bi-weekly now team meetings. So every Monday, the way the structure works on the team is every Monday we do something called powwow with Rachel. And what the powwow is it's the team calls in and we're all on a conference call, and I tell them a great quote to start the week off with, and everyone says something great that happened over the weekend, and they set their goals for that upcoming week. And the admin is also on the call, so they're writing that down, and then at the end of the call everybody gets an email to hold them accountable to what they said they were going to do, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is script practice. So 8:22, or no, what is it? It's 9 o'clock to 9:20 is script practice, and the scripts are sent out on Monday, so the agents always know what's going to happen Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And our expansion agents as well as our local agents get together and they script practice for 20 minutes. And there's usually some high energy, something that they do beforehand. We have them do like lunges or push-ups or all kinds of stuff just to get blood flowing. We talk about fitness a lot on our team. We're really committed to like hitting things at a high level. And I think fitness is a key component to being successful. And then basically Fridays are your open house prep day. So they're in the office lead generating with us 3 days a week, but they're responsible for lead generating 5 days a week. So the script practice leads right after that to Mojo Dialing, which they do for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I see most top agents are the path is in the math. So they're always following the numbers, right? You're doing your dials, you're doing all of this. What are some of those key indicators that you guys track? I mean, is it dials, appointments made? Give us an idea of what you guys track to keep some predictability to your business.
Okay. So the standard to be on Aitchison Adams is that you will close 2 deals a month. So if you're doing your daily activities, you're going to be closing 2 deals a month. So the idea is they are dialing at least 100 numbers per day, 5 days a week. They are doing at least 3 open houses a month, and that equals their 2 closings every month at a minimum.
Yep. Awesome.
And we do quarterly client appreciation parties, and so that's a great way to reach out to your database. We're super intentional about our database, and we send out ridiculous things. Like Matt and I for Christmas did this like Disney cartoon of the 2 of us. We had like Fiverr make it, and we sent it out, and I got like 3 referrals from that thing. So it's like I think that the thing with a database and touching them is they don't need, of course, they know they need to turn back the clock. Like, we get it. They're getting 7 people saying that to them. You want to come up with stuff that's personal. Bottom line is people work with people they like. So Facebook's a huge piece for me. So last year, of the 123 transactions we closed, 31 were from Facebook. I am so freaking intentional about my Facebook. It's not even funny. Like if anybody that follows me knows they're going to see regular posts from me. And I absolutely believe in the 70-30 principle. 70% about what I post about has nothing to do with real estate. Nothing. It's like what I'm eating, where I'm going, what I'm thinking. I'm really big on like motivational stuff and leading my life with intention and, being authentic and those kind of things. And so that's what I talk about. 30% of what I talk about is a class I went to, a house we just listed, something about real estate. But the whole thing is coming from contribution. If people work with people they like, then be likable. Be you. Talk about you,
Yep. So, I find that good becomes the worst enemy to greatness. It's so easy to get caught up in it's good enough and to get comfortable. What are some things that you do personally and then you guys do as a team to ensure that you're not settling for good enough, to ensure that you keep leveling up and keep growing?
So they say that the average mega agent attends a training 52 days out of the year. So that's once a week. So I think for me, I know I'm always going to be a student of the game. There's always going to be people out there doing. No, definitely 52 a year.
Yeah, 52
a lot. But yeah, I just think it's important to be a student of the game. Know that there are people out there that are doing more than you at a high level, and staying humble and knowing you can always learn. I think, when you get, I definitely was subject to it. Like when people think you're great, sometimes you can get a little bit of an ego, and sometimes you have to get rocked back to ground to be told you're just human and you're just selling houses. Like for me, it was what you do today, you get paid in 90 days from now. So if you get held up on the fact that, yes, you closed 122 deals last year, you're not going to close 123 deals this year if you're not doing your daily activities. I think it's just never being, more humble than knowing you've got to do your daily lead gen. Like, I don't care how big you get, you have to lead generate. That's how your business comes through, is you're lead generating.
Yep.
And so you have to be willing to do that every day.
Yep. So do you have a daily routine that you follow? I mean, what does a typical day look like for you?
So for me, I usually wake up at 6:30. I have kind of I really like my morning routine. So like right before I get out of bed, I will think about 3 things I'm grateful for. My boyfriend and I literally turn to each other and say 3 things we're grateful for in the morning. And I'm telling you, it is like the coolest thing to just instantly get your mindset in a place of gratitude. So 3 things we're grateful for. And then I set myself up for success. So the night before I go to sleep, so say you're going to sleep and you have like 5 hours, right? You had a crazy day, you only have 5 hours to sleep. If you go to sleep and you tell yourself, like, Josh, you're going to be so freaking tired when you wake up, you're going to be exhausted, it's a crappy day, you're going to have no energy, then guess what? You're going to wake up at 5 and you're going to be exhausted, it's going to be a crappy day, and you're going to have no energy. And yet, if I go to sleep and I tell myself, okay, I have 5 hours, I'm going to get the most beautiful, restful sleep I can possibly get, and tomorrow's going to be an amazing day, then that's what happens. So I tell myself the night before I'm going to get a great night's rest of sleep, set my intentions, wake up, say what I'm grateful for, and then the very first thing I do before my 2 feet hit the floor is I drink a cup of water. And I have it by my bed from the night before. Your body dehydrates as you sleep, and it's so important that you fuel your body with the right stuff. I'm such a believer in like health and wellness, because I think that like you only have one vessel in this world, right? So like you can have as big goals as you want, and yet if you're not taking care of your body and taking care of your health, you're not going to get to those goals. So you have to take care of you. So I drink my water and then I go work out. So my workouts are crazy. I have I'm training for a half marathon right now, so I'm a little bit bananas. But I just do a half hour on the elliptical. And I just like mob it out, and I make sure I have like a good sweat sesh going. And then I shower. I eat a clean breakfast. I do protein pancakes with oatmeal and zucchini, and then I get to the office. So when I get to the office, I have a quick powwow with Matt, and we just talk about kind of what we have coming up in the day. It's usually like a 10-minute strategy session, and then I immediately go into emails. So I check my email. I get about half an hour to check emails. And then my entire day is time blocked by hour-and-a-half increments. So I know for me, if I have a buyer broker, that includes my buyer broker time, which is 45 minutes, and my drive time. If I have a listing presentation, it includes my listing presentation, which is 45 minutes, including paperwork, and my drive time. So everything for me is time blocked in hour-and-a-half increments, and my team, my agents know if they need me, they have my hour-and-a-half increment, and they can block it in. So the way my calendar works is kind of cool. It has all these blocks through. I do it just through Google, and it says open, 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 and they're all done in an hour-and-a-half. And if I get a listing presentation, my admin knows to just pop it in, and it gets an hour-and-a-half time slot. And any extra hour-and-a-half that I have, those are lead gen. Hands down, those are lead gen. You always can be calling your database. You always can be calling to invite them to the next client appreciation party. Like, so say you're on Facebook and you see like a great article, and it's something that like really matters to you, a personal thing that really matters to you. Send it to your database. They don't need to always know market updates. They want to know something good that matters to you. Like, I read this article the other day about parenting, and it was about this mom who was telling her kid, like, she was telling her kid to hurry up. And it was saying, just talking about being present and making sure that, people matter. And I was like bawling from reading this article, and I'm not a mom. I don't have kids yet, and yet I plan on it at some point. And the article affected me because I thought that's the kind of mom I'm going to be if I'm not intentional about slowing down and making people that matter to me a priority. So I put it on Facebook, got a ton of responses, and it's going to be a piece that goes out to my database this month.
Yep, love it. So what do you guys, what's your plans for the team? I mean, I know it's kind of hard to look way into the future, but where do you see this going?
Matt and I are really intentional about what we call playing in our passion place. So we want the team to grow. So last year we did 35 million. Our goal this year is to do 50 million. The next year we want to do 75 million. Then we want to hit 100. And for us, it's about growth, but it's about intentional growth the right way.
my theme for this year, every year I have kind of a theme, and my theme for this year is I want to be small and profitable versus big and broke. Because I feel like last year I was so, like, blinded by the, like, big teams out there and wanting to be big that we were putting people on our team. They weren't closing transactions, and yet we liked them as people, so we kept them on the team. And that's great. But if you want to be profitable, you have to be really clear on where you want to go. So you also need to know where you're at, you know? Like, reviewing your P&L is so crazy important.
Yep. Do you run a P&L then on each individual agent or just as a company as a whole?
Company as a whole, we have our, I wonder if it's here, I bet you it's in my office, our year-to-date that my admin does, Carla, is, like, insane. It's like, it's on steroids. It says, like, every agent, how many deals they've closed, how much they've made, how much they've paid the company, how much they paid our broker, and then we have pending, all this stuff for every agent, what's coming in, where we're at. We have P&L done every single week. I mean, we are so incredibly clear on numbers for us because we had to look at where we were spending our money, because when you have to make some tough decisions, you know, you need to make sure that what you're spending on your money on, you're getting a return. And some of the stuff we weren't, but we didn't know because it was like automatically drafted or whatever. And when we decided that we were going to kind of trim the team down a little bit and get really intense about where we spent our money and how we spent it, the P&L was really important.
Yep, love it. So I know recently you just wrote a book. You know, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, tell us about the book. Tell us about what the book's about, but then also what inspired you to write it.
Definitely. So the book is called, it's right here. And on the back is Nina, Rowan, Heller, and I, and we are sitting on a beach. So the book is called Lost and Found in 90 Days, Your Journey to Self-Discovery and Ultimate Happiness. And the way that the book came about was I had hit top 1,000 agents in the country, and Keller Williams had known that I had done Bold 6 times. And the first time I took Bold in 2012, I got major commitment to myself, and I lost like 40 pounds. I mean, I was all in. I bought into the mindset. I bought into like health, and I was like, my life's different. And so 3 years later, I'm contacted, and they're like, oh my gosh, come talk to young agents. The episode was called like Young and Killing It or something like that. And it was like, come talk to agents about how you lead your life and your morning routine. And I was super excited. Problem was, in that 3-year time difference, I had gotten a divorce. I had gained back 30 of those 40 pounds. And I'm going around the U.S. coaching other people on how to build a business and work on their mindset. And yet I was getting headaches and drinking an Advil down with coffee. And I was going to happy hours with my girlfriends. And I was doing all these different things. And my business was growing really well, right? But I stopped working on me. And I think that's the thing that happens with so many people is you stop focusing on yourself because you get busy with everything else. And you can't be the best daughter you can be. You can't be the best wife you can be. You can't be the best mother. You can't be the best realtor unless you're taking care of you. So I go to Texas, and I walk into the gym, and I'm like, got this dress on, it's sucking in, it's got like ruching on the side. And I sit down, and I meet Nina, Rowan, Heller, and she's a health and wellness coach for Keller Williams. And the camera crew's there, the lights are on, and she's asking me about my career and all this stuff, and I'm super excited, you know, talking all in the high-pitched voice and everything. I'm like, everything's great, I'm so happy, I love real estate. And she's like, so how do you feel? And I'm like, I'm great, thanks, I feel good. She's like, oh, okay. And we're talking more, and she keeps going back to how I feel. And I'm like, what is wrong with this lady? Like, what's going on? And she dismisses the camera crew. And she takes my hand, and she very gently tells me we're not going to be shooting that day. And I'm like, what? Like, why? Like, what? You know, what happened? And she said, I think something else is going on here. You know, I know that you're doing great in real estate, and I think that's amazing. But what's really going on? And I just like burst into tears. And I said, I'm not happy. I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting emotional. I'm like, I'm one person on Facebook, and everyone sees like happy Rachel and successful and all these things. But like when I go home, something's missing. And I don't know what it is. But like, I'm not happy. I have good friends. I have good family. I'm so lucky. But I'm not happy at my core. And so we had this like beautiful 2-hour conversation, and she sends me home, and I don't shoot that commercial. We talk about something else for real estate, but I didn't shoot the commercial I was supposed to. And I went home and I cried for like 2 days. And I'm like, I know I'm capable of more. There's got to be something here that's missing. So I looked at my life and I got really real with myself. And I said, okay, if I could take out my 2 biggest distractions for 90 days, what would that be? And what could my life look like? And so for me at the time, my 2 biggest distractions were dating and drinking. So happy hours with girlfriends and clients and different things, right? You know, glass of wine here, glass of wine there, and it adds up. After you have a glass of wine, you're more likely to have the French fries or the cheesecake or whatever because your resolve's lowered. And then dating is I wasn't like fully healed from my divorce because I never let myself heal. I just was busy and threw myself into my work because I knew I'd get results that way. But I had stuff like brewing and it was really difficult. And so I numbed myself with different things, right? So for 90 days, I took out dating and drinking, and all these amazing things started to shift in my life. My business went up. I was feeling healthier and happier. I started to establish a morning routine. And on day 69, I flew back to Texas for a mega camp. It's a Keller Williams event. And I run into Nina in the hallway, and I'm like 25 pounds lighter. And she's like, oh my God, Rachel, what happened to you? And I said, you happened, and that conversation happened. And she said, we have to talk about this. So in order to get like 10 minutes with Nina is difficult, and I was able to get an hour with her every week for the next 2 months. And in that, she asked me if I could pinpoint all the things that changed for me. And I ended up coming up with 12 things that changed for me. She flew me down to her house, her and Chris's beach house in San Diego. And just to preface, Nina is Chris Heller. He's the CEO of Keller Williams. She's his wife. She's a health and wellness coach, and she also is a celebrity nutritionist, and she's amazing. And so we came up with 12 things that changed, and that ended up becoming 12 chapters. And then we thought, this is pretty exciting. What if there's a little more to this? So because I took 90 days to work on me, we created a 90-day challenge for everyone else. And so what it is there's 12 weeks where you get a few different things happen. You join on Facebook and you get a 90-day accountability and support group. So everyone on the challenge is committed for 90 days to go through this huge transformation together. And then there's also an app, and on the app there's how to dress for your body type. You can track your workouts, your food, your water. There's sample grocery lists. There's meal plans. There's workout short videos that Nina and I did, like how to get 6-pack abs while you drive. I have a 4-pack. Working on my 6. But the app's really cool. The idea, and there's journaling to it. The idea is wherever you go, the app is with you, so you can always be working on your growth. There's the book, obviously, with the 12 chapters, and then there's inspirational guidance videos. So every week on a Monday, you get a chapter assigned to you. You also get a video sent to you that Nina and I have recorded for you, guiding you through the program, guiding you through that week's chapter. And then you also get a little t-shirt and everything. And it's just this amazing community. So it's Lost to Found in 90 Days, your journey to self-discovery and ultimate happiness. And the idea is, you know, there's just so many people out there that are stuck. They know that there's more out there for them, but they don't know how to get it. So we had our first group had like 65 people in it, the challenge group, and you know we had to cap it. We cap the groups at 40 people per group. We have a couple of groups going every time. They start the first Monday of every month. But the chapters are pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see that?
Not really.
So we go through a couple different things. So the first week is your story and your big why. And then we go through your 2 distractions. Then we have your day planning and implementing, your water, your nutrition and fuel, your exercise and sleep, your mindset and body posture, your journal, your relationship standards and allies, your goals and lists, your spirituality and meditation, and your quiet time and self-love. So it's taking you through like all the different pieces of who you are. We talk about like time blocking. We talk about being present with people and putting your cell phone down. We teach you how to figure out what your top 80 and 20% is. The relationship standards one was kind of huge because for me it was when I was going through this, I knew like business wise, I know what I want. I know what I want. I know how to get there. I have a goal and I hit it. But when it came to a relationship, like I never really had standards for myself. I knew what I wanted them to look like in a picture, but
I didn't have clarity past that. So in my journal, I wrote a word, a bunch of different words that mattered to me in a relationship. And then next to each word, I wrote a paragraph on what that word meant to me. And at the time, I thought that I was kind of just getting like clarity on what it meant to me in a relationship. But I realized later that I was setting a standard for what I wanted. And I'm not kidding you, 3 months after I wrote this book, I met my boyfriend. So, and he's the best thing I've ever experienced. He's wonderful.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's powerful. So how do our listeners, if they want to go check it out, maybe they're wanting to join an experience like that, where's the best place to go to do that?
So they would go to www.lost2found90.com, and the number 2 and the number 90 are a number. So it's lost2found90.com. And actually, we just got it updated today. So for your listeners, they can go on and they can download the first 3 chapters for free. And they can also watch chapter 7, which is your mindset and body posture. They can watch one of the inspirational guidance videos. The idea is we wanted to kind of give people a little test run to see a little about the program and make sure it's a fit for them. You're pushed to places that aren't always comfortable, right? You're going to be uncomfortable in this program, but growth comes from the uncomfort. So we literally had it live last night, so you guys are going to be the first ones to get to sneak a little download.
Awesome. That's killer. All right, so a couple last questions for you, because I know you're busy and you got to get jamming. Let's say something happens, right? You're financially wiped out. Like the business just all goes away. I mean, your health's good, family's good, but you've retained all this knowledge that you've learned over these years of all your experiences. But you had to start all over with, say, $300 in the bank. What are the first few things you'd immediately go out there to start doing to rebuild what you built?
That's a really good question, Josh. Okay, so $300. First thing I do is something that was free. I would make sure I have my Facebook set up. And I would get really, really clear on what my, so I talk to my agents about their business is like the legs of a chair. If you have 4 legs to a chair, what are those 4 pieces of business? So like when you get into real estate, you get Zillow calling you saying, be a premier agent, spend money here. You get Realtor.com saying, pay money here and I'll send you leads. You have an REO agent saying, sell bank-owned properties, short sale. Okay, do that. When I got into real estate, I'm like, I specialize in everything. You want me to buy a high-rise in San Francisco? I will sell it to you. You want to buy a country property here? I specialize in that. And then I got really clear on what I really wanted to do. So for me, number one is I would say with that $300, pick 25 people in your database or that you think either could refer your business or have referred you business, and spend some money in sending them a nice card. Right? A $5 Starbucks card, send them a nice card. And just tell them you're grateful for them being in your life. By the way, if they're looking for anyone to buy or sell real estate, right? So you're going to send a handwritten card to your top 25. And then you're going to follow that up with a phone call. If you have to pay your Verizon bill, that's fine. That can go out of your $300, whatever. Make sure your Facebook is updated. You want to be talking again 70% about things that you like and care about. 30% is real estate. We have a rule that's called don't post and ghost. So if you are posting on Facebook and you're doing it for interaction, right? And somebody comments to you and says something, you didn't just make a post and then you can call it a day, you're done. They're talking to you because they want to interact with you. So don't post and ghost. Don't peace out and be like, I did my post, I'm out. Go back and interact with them. They want to talk to you. And then, what else do they spend money on? You know what? We spend $200 a month on Zillow, and we get a fair amount of leads from it. I do like the Zillow platform. We also have a Boomtown account, so they kind of dance and do a little talk together, but I do get a good amount of leads from Zillow, and I think as long as you're understanding that within the first 5 minutes is your conversion, if you pay for internet leads, use them. Don't be that person that's just taking $5 bills and dropping them on the ground as they walk, right? Because that's what's happening. Every time you don't answer that call or you wait 2 hours to get back to them because you're on Facebook looking at a cat video or whatever you're doing, you're just wasting money. So don't be that person.
Yep. Love it. All right, so I started this podcast because there's just this abundance of information out there today, and it just seems like people really need to be on an information diet, and especially in the real estate industry, so many people are giving information, and I've never done it. So I was just really inspired to go out there and interview the doers, people like yourself that are going out there, doing it at a big level, that have created epic businesses, to give back to the real estate community so that other people could get that knowledge, that inspiration, go out there and create an epic life, an epic business just like you've been able to create for yourself. So with that being said, do you have any last words of inspiration or motivation that you'd like to leave our listeners with so they can go out there and create that amazing life like you've been able to create?
I think the biggest thing, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, how did you do in such a short amount of time? You've got to be so clear that there's no giving up. If this is truly the business you want to be in, then know that this is the business you need to be in with consistency. Like when I talk to a seller and they say, I'm not ready to buy for 6 months or I'm not ready to buy for a year, my answer is always, you know what, that's totally fine. This is the last job I'm ever going to have, so I'm here for you when you're ready. So if you're consistent and you genuinely come from contribution, and by that I mean you actually want to help people. I know for real estate, for me, I want to help someone. If a seller wants to sell their house, I know that I'm going to net them the absolute most money in the market and have great customer service and great communication throughout the process. And at the end of that, they're going to want to refer me business. But I know I'm contributing to their life because I found out that they want to get to little Johnny's graduation in February and it's December and it's my job to get them there. So I'm going to contribute to their life by helping them hit their goals. And they know that and they feel that. And I'm a very genuine person. So when I tell someone that I want to do something for them, I mean it. The other thing is get very clear about a dirty no or dirty yes versus a clean no. So I was told this a long time ago and I thought it was brilliant. So you're going to have a bunch of people that are like, hey, Rachel, come to this marketing event, or hey, Rachel, can you come to my cocktail party, or whatever. Either I double book myself and I can't go to two things at one time, or I don't really want to go. Be okay with saying no. A clean no is better than a dirty yes. I think just be so clear on how much your time is worth and where you're spending your time and who you surround yourself with, and you'll get there.
Yep, love it. Powerful words. So to our listeners, I know I end every podcast with this, you guys, but information without implementation is a start of delusion. Information is not power. It's taking that information, applying it to your business and your life that creates power in your world. So you just heard from one of the top real estate agents on the planet that's doing some epic things. Make sure you take some of the amazing information that Rachel shared today, implement in your business, implement in your life so you can go out there and create the life and the business that you know you want and you deserve. And Rachel, I mean, this has been a massive honor. I appreciate you taking time in your busy day to be here, and this has been super cool.
My pleasure. And yeah, if you guys want to, we're starting another group. We start on the first Monday of every month for Lost to Found. So it's lost2found90.com. And if you want to follow me on Facebook and see what I'm doing for real estate and other, it's Rachel Adams Realtor is the way you find me.
Awesome. You guys go check it out now. All right. Thanks again, you guys. We'll see you next time.